So, anyways, I took this CNN uh, video of their reaction to the footage. It's kind of hilarious because it's you're watching two sides of on the same issue completely spin the narrative both of their ways. So, I'll play this and then we'll discuss this a little bit.
We are watching Fox News and how they are getting special access to footage from January 6th. This is something that premiered last night on Tucker Carlson's show. And what appeared to be an attempt to rewrite what happened on January 6th is they revealed a portion of the 40,000 hours of footage that was given to Fox News and only to Fox News by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Tucker Carlson aired a portion of the video talking about what happened that day in what appeared to be an attempt to sanitize it.
The crowd was enormous. A small percentage of them were hooligans. They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers. Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the Speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile. They're not destroying the Capitol. They obviously revere the Capitol.
I'm gonna stop it there for a second. It's funny because you can take something hyper the other way. Yeah, okay. Some of them, sure. Some of the people, just like when they said those the protesters for the George Floyd riots, protests, whatever you want to call that, that they were mostly peaceful. Yeah, okay, sure. You have 40,000 people in a small space. Yeah, it's going to be mostly peaceful. In order for it to be not mostly peaceful, you'd need at least 20,001 person to be violent and, not peaceful. So yeah, of course it's going to be mostly peaceful. The language is stupid here, obviously. But just so you see the other side, we've been we've been smacked in the face with the other side of it, the narrative from the left. So this is nice to see the other one, but remember that we want to fall in the middle somewhere here. This is almost like a heavy overcorrection to the one side. So,
of course, many of the people that you see in these videos here, as Poppy was just referencing, and as we've covered here at CNN, were actually charged with crimes for what happened on January 6th. 326 people were charged.
I'm gonna stop it there again too. So if you've watched the footage from Tucker Carlson, you'll see that the shaman, the dude with the makeup on his face and the headgear and all that, he was walked around by Capitol Police through the Capitol. So they were escorting him essentially. At one point, there was like 9 cops in like striking distance of this guy. He wasn't armed. There wasn't anybody else really around. Obviously, there was probably some other people close by and such, but they had him outnumbered. They could have subdued him. They didn't. So you can speculate all you like about why they didn't subdue him. Maybe they were trying to keep things calm. That's a fair argument. Maybe because he wasn't doing anything, they decided they weren't going to escalate it. Again, these are all fair points, but this goes against the idea that he was there as a violent insurrectionist. And they don't mention anything about the fact that he was arrested and sentenced to 4 years. 4 years I didn't see him do anything in any of they don't have any tapes of him doing anything violent. They have the one where he's sitting, probably the worst footage they could find of him, where he's sitting up in the bench in the Capitol, in the whatever, one of the main rooms in the Capitol. But then there's other footage of him praying and thanking the police. So again, I'm not condoning this act here to break into the Capitol, or whether he was let in or not, or whether a bunch were let in. Still, the idea of them going in there, yeah, it's trespassing. There's a number of different things they could charge them with, but 4 years, very excessive.
Charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers or employees. The Justice Department says 140 officers were assaulted that day at the Capitol. Some left with head wounds, cracked ribs, smashed spinal discs, and burns. Joining us now to talk about this is CNN media.
Yeah, that's not even here from this person. This person's ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, anybody who who's in the middle can see that the one side will try and push a narrative, and the narrative is obviously that this was an insurrection. The other side will push the narrative that this wasn't an insurrection in any way. There is a middle ground. I don't think it was an insurrection in any way. I think anybody with half a brain knows this wasn't an insurrection. Was it a violent assault on the Capitol? Potentially. It was at the very least a riot. And people that riot, they'll smash windows. Yeah, you can make an example of them. Sure. I understand that fully. But this whole idea and this whole narrative that basically the U.S. government was under siege, I think is a farcity. So it's just funny to see also that how CNN will spin it. They took the footage that Tucker released, they handpicked that even, and used what they wanted from that. Why not show exactly what he said? Why not show some of those scenes of him, of the shaman walking through the halls? They didn't talk about that or explain that in any way. You're just going to see further and further skirting of the truth and more narrative pushing on both sides, destroying the other. And the sad thing about something like this is it really doesn't matter about the actual truth of it. It's really first in. It's always been first in now since the 24-hour news cycle. It's whoever gets there first. Doesn't matter if you're true, if you're right, or if the facts are actually the facts that you're reporting. It's all about if you get it out first. Nobody ever retracts anything. The story, they just keep doubling down and saying, "Hey, yep, no," and they'll spin it any which way they can to try and correct it. So that's all you see here over and over, and that's all that CNN's going to do continuously, and anyone else on the left side of the liberal news media. And again, I'm not, because I'm more of a centrist, I'm not going to pick on necessarily solely the left. Fox News will do the same thing. Whatever their spin narrative or what they want to report or whatever gets them views, they're going to do the same thing. So, but I think this is going to be a good thing, at least to see both sides now finally, and then most people will be able to, instead of just formulating a bunch of what they call conspiracy theories on the right end of it, they'll actually be able to say, okay, I see what the left side is showing and I see what the right side's showing, and now I'm going to find myself a good kind of happy middle with all that information and come up with your own sort of conclusion in absence of the full information. And by the way, this would be brought